Hi there. I'm going to do a quick little breakdown of the Predator battle scene from my Gears of War soundtrack for the Hivebusters DLC. First thing I'm going to mention is I did the live percussion on this part was summed through a Vertigo VSM2, so it's kind of a multi-band FET distortion processor that just kind of makes everything sound polished. So in delivering stems, there were some elements that I thought should stand out, namely the percussion, so I summed it before I sent it, and it made them cut through pretty nice, I think. So I'm just going to play that first part, just a little bit of it here. So here's Wisdom 5. So I used that same thing, the African talking drum, throughout for just kind of creating a really interesting syncopated, just really organic, kind of, it just adds an intensity on top of it because it's quite sloppy, but the rest of the percussion is very on beat, so it kind of plays against it. I was doing a little bit of a 2 against 3 feel in the percussion here. I have these tiny little congas that I was just smacking with a drumstick. But the thing that's cool about using polyrhythms in a video game sequence like this is that they're not quite predictable patterns, so your brain doesn't tire of them as quickly as just a straight kind of symmetrical time feel. And by bringing it in and out, it kind of it just adds to the perception of variety. So you can get a lot of mileage out of just a basic percussion track by, for gameplay music when you're thinking in either polyrhythms or asymmetrical stuff. And these are like baby polyrhythms, like just the, so they're like pretty straight ahead, not so much that it melts your brain. So that the percussion is really the pulse here, but there's also some neat high string elements. Like I processed the violin by doing just some plucky kind of. I was playing with a guitar pick, I think one of them. So I got like a neat little scratchy, plucky feel, and I'm just doing like a kind of slow glissande up and down the notes, so it adds this really kind of interesting tension. So if you just play the percussion and that together, you get it comes together quite orchestrally, almost, the way all the parts are playing together. So the idea with the Predator battle scene was it's kind of a when I saw the Predator, as soon as they put all the colors on him, like this was my these are temp, like the game wasn't finished at this point, so as soon as they got them all colored up, I thought it looked like a flamenco dancer. So I did all this as another layer for the themes and stings you can hear throughout the game. There's this little flamenco element in there, not overbearing, it's just another texture that I added on top. And so for this battle scene, I used like a flamenco style pulse rhythm. So it's kind of like it has a bit of a flamenco feel for the theme. So there's a couple things like the electric guitars are playing that. So it's kind of got that balance of a slow lumbering thing with this sort of frantic pulse, which I think pretty much sums up the at least physical movement of the Predator. Like, it's got these fluttery hummingbird wings, but it's like this big chunky bird thing. So like it does sort of lumber around a little bit, like when it's So it's kind of a neat, using that sort of musical juxtaposition, I think, creates something that sort of captures at least the physical gesturing of the creature, so it gets, like, keeps it suitable. Then, yeah, on top of, I was doing some more flute elements, which were a big part of it, again. Just some pads and textures, like stuff that can loop endlessly kind of underneath everything. But yeah, that was about the most of it just for that sequence. So just to sum it up, it's basically a combination of the polyrhythms, the sort of flamenco style orchestral sort of riff layered with a guitar sequence, so you could kind of go between it. Like, as it got bigger, you could add this layer on top of this layer, and then the brass is sort of its own thing. I processed that with the VSM, and that distortion is coming from the unit itself. Let's see what these... So some kind of... So yeah, that's that cue.